In this video, we are going to import data from HTML. Now, I'm a boxing fan, and one of the world's most popular boxers, current lineal heavyweight champion, is Tyson Fury. And what I want to bring into my workspace is this table here. Go down. This table of results, record, opponent, type of win, round time, the date, the location, and notes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to I'm going to read this table into my Jupyter notebook. So let's go back to Jupyter. The first thing that I want to do is I'm going to copy the URL. So let me go to Tyson Fury's Wikipedia, copy the URL, and then I come back and stick it on my Jupyter notebook. Let me put it in inverted commas. There we go. And then let me open up another cell. In this cell, I am going to now read the data. So I'm going to let me call my data frame TF for Tyson Fury this time around. And then that's going to be equal to pd.read underscore HTML, open and close parentheses. Now what I can do here is I can create a variable called URL and assign this whole thing to that variable and then just call URL in here. So create the variable by running this. Now all of this is assigned to a variable called URL, and if I run this, it ran successfully, so the data has already been read. It's in our Jupyter notebook now. Now let's try what we did in video 2, where we look at the first 5 lines of our data frame by employing the head function and see what happens. So I'm going to go tf.head, open and close parentheses, and then I'm going to run this. It's going to give us an error because when we're importing data from HTML, we don't import a data frame. We actually import a list. And the Python list, does not have the head function or the head attribute. So if we want to look at our data, we're going to have to do this. Just gonna have to look at the whole thing, and it does not look pretty. This is a list of what our pd.read underscore HTML function was able to scrape from this website here. Our task now is to turn this list into a data frame. Now, as it stands, and the reason Pandas wasn't able to give us a data frame here was because there are multiple tables here and a lot of free text. So what we need to do now is to help Pandas identify the tables and then identify the table that we are interested in. And how we do that is we create a new variable. I'm going to call this new variable data frame, and data frame is going to be a product of tf, let me open and close square parentheses, and I'm now going to look for the tables inside this, and Pandas is going to return those tables, and then I'm going to say that this is the table that I want, this is not the table that I want. It's a trial and error type of thing. So I'm going to start with the table that is sitting at point 0 inside this data. Let me run that. Let me show it. So here's a table that Pandas was able to come up with. It is not the table that we're looking for. So we're going to go again. Let's see if there's a table sitting at position 1. There is a table, but it's not what we're looking for. Let's go again. 2. Let's run that. There's another table, but it's still not what we're looking for. So let's go again. 3. Now there is the table that we are looking for. You see, there's the number of fights, the results, the record, the opponent, the win type, the rounds, the date, the location, and the notes. Another thing that you'll notice here is that our table is already in data frame format. So when Pandas finds a table, it will automatically create a data frame. But if it does not find a table, it will return a list. So because our table is already a data frame, we can now employ the functions of a Pandas data frame, like the head function, to reduce the size of our data and our screen. The problem that we have here is that the headings are included as part of the data, and we have to fix that. So what we must do now is we must change the column labels of this data frame to be that row there instead of those numbers there. And this is how we do that. We say df.columns, that stands for the column labels, and then we say this is equal to df.iloc. This picks a row, and we want to pick row 0. And what it's going to do now is going to pick row 0, and it's going to make row 0 the column labels. Let's go df.head, and let's see. You see, now it's picked row 0 and it has made row 0 the column labels. However, we still have a problem because row 0 remains a part of the data, and row 0 are labels and not part of the data, so we must remove them from the data. And here's how we remove them. We're going to ask the data frame to give us all the data but row 0. And this is how we do that. We go df, open and close square brackets, and we want the rows beginning from the first row, not the 0 row, and we want all the columns. So what this does is it's going to give us all the rows from row 1, but then it's going to give us all the columns, which is what we want. And let's view it. Let's run that, and there it is. Our data frame is complete. We can at this point convert this data set into a time series data set because it does actually have a date component. However, we will not do that here because that will require an index function that is not part of the pd.read function. So we will do that maybe in a later video on indexing. Meanwhile, to recap, in this video we were able to pull data directly from an HTML site, and then from that HTML site we were able to extract tables and then transform those tables into usable Pandas data frames. See you in the next video. Cheers.